Morning guys, we are just having breakfast, aren't we? Is that a nice breakfast?
Yeah.
As you can see, I've forgotten to put the dishwasher on the last couple of days. So we are now eating, well, I am now eating cereal out of a little side bowl and a wooden spoon that I had laying around in the kitchen cupboard. Note to self, put dishwasher on later. Pop you guys here. It's Friday. We are off to, can you guess? We're off to Monkey Music in about 45 minutes. So we've got to have quick breakfast, quick get ready. You may notice that I've had my hair trimmed. It feels so nice to finally have a good bulk of it off. I like it at this length. I haven't done anything with it though. I had no time to curl it this morning. So we are going all natural today. I realised last night that I booked myself on for this Phase Fitness dance class at a studio that I go to that opened a few months or so ago. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous because I've gotten out of the habit of going to classes, and I know it seems like in most vlogs I've uploaded recently I seem to be working out in most of them, and that probably makes you guys think that I'm totally on it and I'm working out loads, and I'm really not. I've probably done like 2 things this month, and so I'm feeling a bit anxious about going to the class. I keep telling myself no, it'll be good, it'll be just what I need. I know I feel good for doing it, so I'm just gonna make myself do it. So yeah, I've got that after Delilah's Monkey Music. My grandma's gonna have Delilah for a couple of hours whilst I go to that. Later on in the vlog I am gonna talk about sleep, something a lot of you guys have asked me to talk about for a long time, and Channel Mum's topic for this month is sleep, and I thought this is the perfect opportunity for me to touch on the subject of Delilah's sleep and our experience with the sleep specialist consultant. I never know what to call her, so I'm going to go into that later on in the vlog, but I don't have time now. I need to eat my muesli, but I will leave links to Channel Mum's page in the description because they've got a whole page full of other Channel Mamas talking about sleeps and their sleep and tips, their sleep tips, and loads of information and videos from their experts as well, talking about children's sleep, from babies to toddlers, stuff I know a lot of you will find quite helpful, so I'll leave a link in the description. And for those of you who want to know about our experience, oh, I just had deja vu. For those of you who want to know about our experience, then I will talk about that stuff later on in the vlog when I get a chance. I'm really going to go on and have my breakfast and get us sorted. I have no idea what I'm going to put Delilah in to wear either. I've got loads of washing on. She has got these cute white cord dungarees that I ordered her from Zara. I might put her in those, but I just know that they're probably gonna get covered in some sort of food within about an hour. But I mean, what was I expecting ordering white dungarees for a toddler? But they're very cute, so if they fit her she might wear those. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna eat this and get us organised. Oh my word, I have just found a hair in my muesli. It was buried in the muesli, and that is not my hair. That's our plant. Yeah. Delilah hiding. Are you hiding? Boom. I have to take my coffee with me. That's your shadow, isn't it? FYI, I didn't put that crown on her. She put it on herself. She went, Lala, princess. So I think we're going to be Princess Delilah today, aren't we?
Oh, where did you go? Oh, you're so fast! Oh my goodness me! You're so quick! Oh, stop. Listen, the music has played. Let's march. Snap your picture in your hands. Lovely stamping.
We are back and I'm feeling ever so windswept. Very windy today. It's actually really cold. I wish I'd taken my jacket or something. I need to get myself changed to go off to this dance thing. I was going to go straight from town, but it made sense. We just came back here, got ourselves reorganised, and then my grandma's going to take her for a couple of hours. But before I get myself ready, got a little package in the post. I think this is Delilah's hat for autumn winter. Oh, cute. Oh, it's not as cream as I thought it was going to be. This is from Bramble and Green. I said that because my screen's upside down, I can't figure out where I'm showing you. Got your ball. So this is by the same brand who did.
I'm on.
Yeah, Hello. Do you guys remember Delilah's purple hat with the 2 pom-poms on? This is from the same brand, Bramble and Green. I will leave a link to them in the description. You're right, gorgeous. Oh, do you need a cuddle? Oh dear. Oh, you fall over. Do you like your new hat?
No.
Is that in my bed? Excuse me? Excuse me? Oh, is Dolly going to bed too? Oh.
I'm on Mummy.
Okay, come here. Come here.
Daddy.
Thank you. Right, Mummy needs to get changed, Papa.
Mummy.
Yeah.
Bed.
Mummy needs to get changed.
Mummy. Bed.
I would love to stay in bed all day. I would.
Mummy.
What are you doing?
Lead up.
Makeup. What's that?
Lead up.
Makeup.
Yep.
Yep. Look at that cheeky face. Lovely.
This.
Can't figure out whether to wear this top, which you have to tie up at the sides, otherwise it's really long, or whether to go for my usual top. I can't find it though, so I may just have to go for this one, but I just feel a bit silly with all this. I need to get myself something to eat. I'm gonna have a banana. Oh, oopsie daisy. Mummy dropped the banana. There we go.
Mine.
Mine, do you want it? You
Yours.
say, what do you say? You say please.
Mummy's.
It's Mummy's, yeah? Should I have one?
Mummy's.
Okay.
Look at you. Don't you look smart?
Love you.
It's a shame you never get the good bits, isn't it? When she said it, would you believe?
Bye, Mummy.
I had a change of outfit because they're going to go to the park. I thought cream dungarees, probably not the best option for the park, so I quickly whipped on her little denim ones. I don't know why I'm so nervous. Maybe it's well, I know it's because I've not done this sort of stuff in a while. Let's go. Hiya.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Good. Only one person's ready. Only Christina's ready. She's always ready. All ready.
I am absolutely starving. Oh, let's go get some food and coffee. Back home, and I picked up, I'm absolutely starving, picked myself up a macaroni cheese and a chocolate almond cookie. I wish I'd eaten a little bit more before I went. I found myself like drifting off, thinking about food and just not being able to concentrate when we kept going over the dance routine. I usually like to have any workouts in the morning, so then I've had breakfast, but I'm not too full. I've got a little bit of energy, but midday is kind of when I had lunch, but I didn't want to have lunch just before I did that class because then I'd feel really sluggish, and so I just felt a little bit in my own little world. I felt very spaced out. That was a good class, so nice, and everyone was so nice, but I knew that my frame of mind at the moment wasn't going to be in it, and that kind of environment is overwhelming for me any day because there's a lot of extroverts and everyone's very, like, a lot of people knew each other, and I was definitely the youngest. I mean, I think they probably thought I was about 16, and everyone was very like loud and like into it, and I was on one hand like trying to like let go, and I did it, and I'm glad I went because I've done it now, you know. But at the same time I was like, oh, I feel really conscious. Oh, stop it, no one cares. But also I was just really hungry and I was trying to concentrate. Let me get a fork because I am gonna wolf this down. I'm literally gonna inhale this macaroni. Lunch has been eaten. including my cookie. I'm feeling much better now. I'm going to sit down and talk about sleep. Delilah's sleep in particular. It's been something that you guys have wanted me to talk about. Well, not all of you. If you want to skip, feel free to skip. In the description I will pop a time that this little talk stops. Like I said in the beginning of the vlog, I will link Channel Mum's page where they've got all things sleep related. You can go have a little mosey over there and see what tips and tricks you can find. And because it's their topic of the month, I thought this was the perfect opportunity for me to finally talk about Delilah's sleep and our experience with the sleep specialists. I can't talk today, it's ridiculous. If you're new to my channel and you've not watched vlogs from the last kind of like year or two, then you may not know that Delilah's sleep was horrendous. When Delilah was born, she slept for 6 hours in the hospital. I didn't really sleep because I had nurses coming in and people visiting. She slept for 6 hours, and if I had known that that was going to be the longest amount of time that she would sleep in a block for 6 months, I would have banned everyone from the room and I would have gone to sleep. The longest span of sleep that she did between that age and us getting a sleep specialist to come in, I'm going to say specialist, consultant specialist, you know what I'm talking about. She would maybe, if we were lucky, do a 4-hour stint once in a blue moon. I'm talking maybe once a month. Apart from that, she'd usually wake me up every 2 hours, maybe every 1 to 2 hours. She couldn't settle herself, which is fine for a newborn. Totally expected, especially when they're breastfeeding in the early days, because they want to, there's a thing called cluster feeding, and they want to up your milk supply, and the older they get, they go through little phases of cluster feeding, and it is what it is. It doesn't mean you're not producing milk. That is a whole other subject, but just because your baby's waking up lots doesn't mean you're not producing milk and that they need hungry baby milk or anything like that. It is what it is. Douglas couldn't settle her, so my partner Doug, if you're new to these vlogs, he couldn't settle her, so it was all on me. Every night, every hour or two, maybe I'd have like 2.5, 3 hours to sleep on a good night. That was a good night, and I would always have to pop her on the boob to get her back to sleep. It's normal for kids to wake up, even toddlers to wake up. Delilah, as amazing as she is at sleeping, she still wakes up, but being woken up every hour was just a bit much. I remember being so desperate, I tried to give her a dummy. She did not want a dummy. She was so adamant that she didn't want dummies or bottles. I couldn't even pump, oh, that was another thing, I couldn't even pump my breast milk to give it to her because she didn't want a bottle. We tried every bottle, she wouldn't take it, so it really was all on me, and that's totally fine, because I know it sounds, it makes it sound ridiculous, because some people must be watching this thinking, well, what did you expect, and you're her mum, so like of course, you know, of course it's going to be hard. Until you've been that person, until you've been in that person's shoes, it is hard. And Delilah was also miserable because she wasn't sleeping. She couldn't nap in the day. I was having to walk her around. As some of you guys know, I was just walking her around constantly in the day to try and get her to sleep. I couldn't even stop in the pram. I couldn't go indoors. I couldn't stop. I couldn't even stop at a traffic light because she'd wake up and scream. So I was just a walking zombie. I had had enough of it, and one of you lovely lot, thank you so much, recommended a sleep specialist that her sister used for all 3 of her kids. I don't know what made me do it there and then, but I thought, this sounds amazing, let's just go for it. So I contacted the sleep specialist, and within a few weeks she was at ours to stay the night. I haven't looked back since. It was the best money we ever spent. But the reason why I've not really touched on the subject that much since she visited was because every child is different, and the things she gave us to do with Delilah won't necessarily work for someone else's kid. I'm clearly not, you know, a specialist in this subject. Sleep training is individual to every child, but what I can do is tell you the techniques that she used with us, because you can clearly see that it worked, and then you can do your own research. So when she came in, she assessed assessed the situation, met Delilah. She was like a baby whisperer. It was bonkers. She knew exactly the kind of child Delilah was the second she walked in. She went into Delilah's room, and if I remember correctly, because this was over a year ago now, she went in and rejigged some stuff in Delilah's room. So the first thing she did was remove the mobile from the cot. So you know those little mobiles that look cute and decorative? Get rid of them. She was happy with where the bed was positioned in the room. She decided that Delilah's head was going to be behind, like have the window behind her, and her to be facing the door. I don't know why she decided that. She just said put her down that way. Oh, I'm running out of battery. Oh no, do I have a freshly charged battery? So I've been talking too long. I wanted to keep this to the point, and all I've done is waffle. I just wanted to go, right, she did these things and this and that, and I've just, hang on, let me get a new battery. Okay, I'm back and fully charged. She popped a pillow underneath the mattress. So where she said to put Delilah's head is where we put a pillow under the mattress, and it just lifted, like, you don't want a huge pillow, it just lifted it a little bit so that there's like a distinguish between the top of the bed and the bottom of the bed. Another thing we did is roll up a towel. So we made like a big sausage, you know those foam sausage things, noodles, the foam noodles that you get when you go swimming. Basically rolled up a towel long ways to make a little sausage, and then we popped it up on the side of the bed that was by the wall, and we put it underneath the sheet. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but it just kind of made it, you know, a bit like a sleepyhead. Made it a bit like that, so it was just a bit cozier. And then the only other thing she did was put a monitor on the wall. So we've got a Motorola video monitor. We still use it now, very occasionally now. It just meant that we could see Delilah in the night. When she woke up, the sleep specialist would get me to come in, and she would say, look at Delilah's body language. This means that, listen to her cry, like this is what this cry means. This is taking a lot longer to talk about than I thought it was going to, but I guess if I'm going to talk about it, I might as well talk about it properly. I just want to tell you more about our experience rather than be like, you should do this, this and this. If I just tell you about our experience, you can take from it what you will. She then asks, right, do you want to do the technique that's going to take the longest but it's maybe the least harsh? Do you want to do the middle ground, or do you want to do the technique that's going to work the quickest, which is hardest usually for the parent? We were so desperate for sleep, we just said, let's just do the one that works the best. Like, what do you recommend? So once we decided that, it was into the routine, which has become a very important thing for us, routine. Now Delilah's older, we can really break the routine a lot, but before it was very much about, like, dinner at this time, and then this and this and this. I find that you can feel a bit judged when you have like a routine with kids. It's so important for them to have a routine, and to an extent for us to have a routine. Parents that can have absolutely no routine and their kids are happy and sleep fine, cool, absolutely fine. But I think you're seen as really uptight if you've got a routine. But sometimes some kids need it, or just need it long enough to kind of set things in stone, and then you can break the routine a bit. So for a good 6 months or so, we were very much on the ball with the routine. We would have dinner at a certain time, and then we'd wind down, have a book, and then have bath time. Doug would usually do bath time unless he's late from work. It was just have a nice bath time, and then towards the last 5 minutes of it, make it nice and chill. Now Doug and Delilah are like rugby tackling each other and laughing and play fighting and all sorts, up until we put her to bed, but she's fine with that now. But it was all about keeping it calm, and then he would hand her over to me, where I would bring her in here. We did that so that when I was putting her to bed, she was awake, because obviously taking her from in here to in there would wake her up a little bit. We'd keep the room very dimly lit, we'd just have a lamp on here, and then I would breastfeed her. And she said, don't breastfeed her to sleep, just wait until she just feels a bit sleepy, and then say, right, bedtime. She gave her a little muslin which she tied some knots in. I've mentioned this quite a few times. She tied some knots in the muslin for something for Delilah to fiddle with, and I would put the muslin on me when she had snuggles before bed. It would just rub my scent off onto it, so she would have that in bed with her, so it was comforting, and then I'd put her to bed. Now she fine, no crying, nothing. She knows how it is now, and she goes to sleep, and she is amazing at bedtime. This is when it got tricky because obviously she was like, what is going on? This is not what I'm used to. Give me boob and put me down asleep. Now the problem with putting babies down to when they're asleep in your arms and then putting them to bed is they wake up and they think, where am I? Because one minute they've fallen asleep, you know, on mummy, on boob or on the bottle, and the next they're just on their own in the dark, and it's very disorientated. If I fell asleep in this bed and woke up somewhere else, I'd be like, what the heck is going on? And I found with a lot of this stuff it is common sense, but it's hard to really think about it logically like that when you're in that sleep deprived bubble and you just want them to get to sleep. And it was easier just to put her on the boob and put her down. So here's where the sleep training comes in. Obviously we put her down. Now I'm not going to go into all of this because I don't feel comfortable telling you how to sleep train your child because everyone is different. But the way we did it is, I guess you would call it controlled crying, and this is where it's very controversial, and this is kind of why I haven't been wanting to talk about it, because I know I'm going to get judged. And I just think quite clearly Delilah is such a happy kid. She's obviously loved, she obviously feels secure. It worked for us, and that's all that matters. You know, if someone else doesn't want to sleep train their child in that way, cool. It wasn't about leaving her to just cry until she stopped. It was about listening to Delilah's cry and also looking at her on the monitor and looking at her body language. I learned that sometimes the loud cries aren't always the bad cries. Obviously if they're hungry or they're distressed, it may be a loud cry, which is why, again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to sleep train your kid, because I don't want to say to you that, oh, a loud cry is fine, ignore them, because it can also mean that they're really hungry or there's something up. So we were given a scale. It was either 1 to 10 or 1 to 5, and I remember the sleep specialist saying, oh, I reckon Delilah will never get to this number. I think she feels secure and safe enough. She seems happy. I reckon Delilah will just get angry. She'll be an angry crier because she's protesting because she just wants boob. I learned a lot about baby's cries, and because I always just thought when she was screaming at the top of her lungs that something terrible was up, when actually she just knew how to protest. So can I just add that Delilah was 6 months old. 3 months is the youngest you want to be doing something like this with them. But I don't think I would have done this at 3 months of Delilah. Personal choice. But 6 months was a good age. And yes, so we basically spent the whole night looking at her body language, and she settled herself quite well. I never needed to rush in because she was genuinely upset. She just was angry whenever she was crying. I went in and fed her once, and she only woke up like twice the whole night. Like, I cannot tell you how amazing that was, to go from going in every hour to her just waking up twice. I think it was like 2 or 3 times maybe. Maybe look it up and do your own research. Look into decoding body language and cries. That's a big tip I would give you if you were going to do this. The other thing that she gave us was we downloaded an app called the Shusha app. Just basically went shh, shh. It makes me cringe now. So when Delilah would wake up, we would put that on outside her door, and then as she settled, we would make it quieter and quieter until she calmed down. But you guys might remember sometimes when she napped in the day, that would be on for the whole nap. I've waffled on far too much. I didn't want to go into this much detail. I would say routine is very important if you're struggling with getting your kid to sleep. The sleep specialist gave us a whole program around she asked us what we get up to on days, and specifically designed the routine for us. And she said Delilah will go down at this time in the morning, this time in the afternoon, have lunch this time. And it was very much about setting the routine so that she knew that when it was bath time, when she got into her gym jams, she's thinking in her head, okay, it's bedtime soon. And now here we are, we have a toddler that's a pretty good sleeper. I have to go in and get her up in the morning. It took a while, but it was really worth it, and I instantly noticed a difference in Delilah after a couple of nights because she had slept. She was a much happier baby in the day. Other thing was that she said to me 6 AM is the earliest you want them to be getting up. So if Delilah woke up at 5, it was back to bed. There was quite a few months where Delilah was getting up at 6, half 6, and a lie-in to me was 6:45, 7, and now, like, as you guys know, she just stays in bed until we go in and get her most days. Also, when you put them to bed, don't do too much. Like I have little conversations with Delilah now, because like I said, she knows the drill and she knows it's bedtime. When she was a lot younger, we'd make sure that it was just mwah, kiss, night night, and put her into bed, and just keep it calm and just good night. Be confident. That is an important thing. Be confident, because they will sense you're a bit nervous. If you're confident, it's almost like it rubs off onto them and they're like, okay, yeah, I'll go to bed. I have rambled on long enough. I hope that was interesting, maybe helped you out a little bit. If you've got any questions, then I'll just answer them in the comments. If you've got any questions, or you'd like me to go into something a little more, feel free to ask me in the comments and I will happily answer you. Why did I say that so weirdly? Answer you. I will happily answer your questions, because I'm sure I've missed something out, and I hope that helped. I'll leave links and whatnot in the description. I've just bored myself there. I don't know how you guys are gonna watch that. Yeah, I just hope that most of you who weren't interested in that just skipped and just watched the rest of the vlog. Okay, I'm gonna go edit now.
Good morning guys, we have arrived at swimming. My camera is falling apart. I can't see whether
I have been editing. Don't know. You guys know how I edit. I don't know. I need to do the hand movements, and now I'm just going to go over the video and make sure it's ready to go up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to upload one vlog this weekend, and then when we're away next week in Cornwall, I'm going to upload this one and the one before this one. So what I want to do is make sure that they're all done, thumbnails included, and then I can put them on an external hard drive and upload them using my laptop when we're there. I'm going to be busy editing and packing over the next couple of days. I'm going to give my grandma a little text, because I don't know if she's waiting for me to say bring Delilah home or not, so I'm going to message her and see how they're getting on. One thing I do need to do, and I've been putting it off all week, it's something I need, so I just gotta do it. And this one that I'm vlogging on right now is just falling apart, and it's actually affecting how I'm able to film, so I need to bite the bullet and get a new one. I'm kicking myself for not getting this 2 years added care, because if I'd gotten this, it's £30, and all I would have had to have done, message John Lewis, because I've only had this for a year, message them and go, my camera's really broken, can I get a replacement? £30. £30. Instead, I'm paying for a whole new camera. The only reason I didn't get the cover was because I thought, oh, we've got home contents, we'll just use that. But the problem with that is you have to work out whether that's worth doing, so you have to pay excess. I've already claimed on it for my phone where the lens smashed last year, and every time you claim it, like, makes your monthly payment go up, and and it takes ages as well, and there's a lot of chasing up, and you have to say, right, have you sent my check? Am I going to get a check? And I don't know really what the cover is for this camera, even though it is completely falling apart. I'm just going to have to bite the bullet. And this time next year, if I have to replace it, which the chances are I'm going to have to, then I will be thankful that I paid the extra £30, because then hopefully if these cameras are still going, I can just get a replacement. So I'm going to do that now. Just gonna close my eyes and just click bye. Here we go. Check out. Delilah's home. Ignore the dirty window. Oh my goodness. What is she doing to Grandma? Let them in. We've got her dinner on. Make sure that doesn't overspill. I've also realised how much I have been cutting my face off like this. Like, usually, like, sometimes I film like that in a candid way, like to change the angles up a little bit, but because I've said this a zillion times, this won't be a problem now I've got my new camera, but because my screen's been playing up and I can't see myself, I've been vlogging like that when I'm not meaning to, so I'm so sorry. It must be really annoying. Hi. Lala. Yeah, get you. Get you. As you would have seen, Delilah's home. She's just had dinner whilst I had a catch up with my grandma. My grandma's just gone. Dog's gonna be home any minute. Been spending the last week trying to get Delilah to try her new coat on. This is another Zara number. As you can see, every year they have these cute coats with bubbles on. I've gotten her a new coat from Zara, but I want to see whether it's worth me getting 3 to 4 years rather than 2 to 3. I managed to get it on her just now. It's taken me 4 days, but I did it for all of about 3 seconds. And it's, yes! I think it fits her. I don't know, because she then didn't let me button it up and she wanted it off. She's got this thing about wearing cardigans and coats at the moment, and her arms are covered, so it's not like it's itching her arms.
Mummy, help.
Do you want to try your coat on?
No.
Nope. She goes, nope, don't want it. Don't want it, do you?
No.
No. You want to get into bed? Yeah. Well, I think Daddy's going to be home in a second.
Mummy.
Should we go hide from Daddy? Should we go hide?
Yeah.
You hiding? I think he might spot us here. There he is.
Hide.
Hide.
Mummy.
Hello. Did you have a nice bath?
Love.
Oh.
Night, night, Delilah.
Night. Night, night.
Love you.
Come on then. You're nice in your new fairy gym, Jazz. You've got fairies on your top. Fairies. Lovely.
Dance.
Dancing. Oh, lovely.
Dummy.
Put your tummy away. The doggy.
Moo.
There's doggy.
Moo.
There's Moo. Right. I'm going to say
Moo.
good night, guys.
There.
Say night night.
Night, night.
See you for Vlogtober. So say bye-bye. See you.
Daddy.
See you in October.
Night, night. Night, night. Night, night, night.
Put Delilah down about half an hour ago. Doug's made our dinner whilst I faffed around organising stuff for, well, tomorrow, because it's Saturday, so we've got swimming, so we need to be organised for the early start. I've been organising bits and bobs for next week as well, but gonna have dinner now and loads of remotes and watch The Circle, which we've been really getting into. It's good. It's this new, what do you call it, reality TV social experiment type program. I won't explain it now, but if you've seen it, it's good, isn't it? What's the advert spot? I'm gonna take my makeup off. My skin is so angry at the moment. I've got so many spots, and I've got this one here on my cheek that is just a lump, just a red hard lump. I don't know what to do. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna take my makeup off, and I will see you guys for Vlogtober. I'm gonna vlog every day in Cornwall, and then those will be the start of Vlogtober, because there's no way I'll get all the Cornwall vlogs up before Vlogtober, because we don't get back until the 29th of September. So yeah, it just makes sense that I get ahead of myself a little bit. I will see you guys then.